So it seems everyone found their seats. Great. Warmly welcome to this seminar, well, not afternoon, morning and afternoon, with the title Global Metamorphoses, a research seminar on societal transformations towards sustainability. And in these times, it is a very fitting title for what is happening in the world. So I think it's a very timely seminar as well. My name is Helena Nordenstedt, and I'm here as a representative of the National Committee for Global Environmental Change under the Royal Academy of Sciences, together with my colleague Björn-Ola Linnér, and you will get to say a few words about yourself. I am a physician and an associate professor of global health and work with climate and health, among other things, and sustainable development for medical students and healthcare students. And Björn-Ola, who are you?
I'm a professor at the Department for Thematic Studies, Environmental Change at the Linköping University.
Excellent. So what is a national committee? Well, a national committee is under the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. There are 18 of them, and we are the one for global environmental change. And our vision, I had to write down the vision of our committee, is to promote research and education within the field of global environmental change and sustainability. And the committee will also work towards interdisciplinary cooperation and strengthen the field throughout the society and work as an expert body for the Royal Academy of Sciences. So what we are doing here today, with your help and your assistance, those of you participating, is in accordance with our vision and mission. We should also mention there's someone who's not here today.
Yes, I will actually present myself soon because I was supposed to. Well, I will be talking together with Victoria shortly. So right now I'm Jan Pettersson, who was one of the the person who really was driving the process and taking the initiative of this seminar. So unfortunately he got the flu. So that is our loss. That's very unfortunate. But he's a professor of chemistry and molecular biology at the Gothenburg University, and he took the helm in these discussions after we had quite a vivid discussion in the committee when we were sort of formulating the web page, presenting ourselves, who we are, and what is our take on global environmental change and so on. And of course, we then started to presented the thoughts on societal transformations. And it turned out that we had quite different takes on that and different views on the merits of using this lens. So which was super fun. That's one of the advantages of having a national committee, where there are different perspectives that can sort of clash or nourish each other and so on. So, and hopefully we will take that discussion and that spirit to the discussions during the day. It's so great to see so many from different fields and from different experiences that we'll discuss this together today. I really look forward to it. So thanks for coming.
Who knew developing content for a website could be so much fun and leading to this seminar? I would also like to say that, as you can see, we have assistants. We are co-organizing this seminar together with SDSN Northern Europe and Future Earth, and they will get to present themselves further on as well. And this would not have happened without their assistance. I would also like to point out the president of our national committee, because she's sitting over there, so you can wave, Katarina Gårdfeldt. And with that said, I think it's time to dive in. Can we see the agenda, please? Thank you. So we start out this morning with 1 hour before we have then lunch between 12 and 1. And you will get to hear more about the presentations soon. In the afternoon, we will have some more presentations. I think I can also change this window. Some more presentations and then some group discussions where we hope to have vivid discussions just like the ones we had when developing our website or our homepage. And finally, a panel discussion in the afternoon. So we're very much looking forward to you actively taking part in these discussions, mostly in the afternoon. And with that said, with no further ado, let's dive in. And Victoria, please join the stage.
Yes, so it's my privilege to present my next door neighbor in the office, Victoria Wibeck, who is a professor also at Environmental Change and at the Center for Climate Science Policy Research. And you're also involved in a lot of activities nationally, so many of you have come across Victoria. You're in the Climate Policy Council, among other things. So you want to add to your resume?
No, thanks a lot. I'm also a member of the National Committee, so I've been very fortunate to be involved in planning this seminar. Look forward to that.
And I promise to do the clicking.
Yes, thanks. It's great to see you here today, and as we already heard, we look forward to inspiring conversation about what transformational change can mean in different settings and in different contexts. And maybe just to start off, many of you might have seen some of these reports where the transformation language is entering policy debates and discussions today. So both in the IPBES, in the IPCC, in the UN 2030 agenda and many other instances, there is discussions about what does it mean for societies to transform towards sustainability. And also in the research landscape, I just some days ago took a look in the Scopus database to see like the expansion of the literature, the research literature on societal transformations towards sustainability, which is increasing. And the same goes for international news media, where we can see that there is an increasing amount of reports coming out which are discussing in different ways the topic of transformations towards sustainability.
This surge in the literature and the interest has some of our colleagues have said that, well, now it's become sort of an empty signifier, like sustainable development is for some people that it could mean anything, so it's not really useful. Well, that's not really the case. We could see that in our discussions in the National Committee, but I would just like also to remind how controversial it could be at the international stage to use the concept of transformation. This is a text from one of the drafts for the Paris Agreement. Up until the Thursday of the second week, so just a few days before the Paris Agreement was finally decided, it was still bracketed in the text to use the concept of transformation towards decarbonization. But countries like Saudi Arabia said, no, this is a deal breaker. We won't accept a treaty that mentioned transformation towards decarbonization. And then the concept has been, different actors have tried to, and different parties have tried to get the language into the negotiations text of the UNFCCC, but has encountered resistance from some with vested interest in the fossil society, which just proves that it means something. It has a bearing that is still challenging vested interest, for instance. So at COP28, for instance, I was in the room when it was discussed, and same country said, no, take it off, otherwise it's a deal breaker. Yes, so just a few words on what transformation is. We will hear much more about it today with Karen's fantastic keynote soon, so we won't say so much about it. But we found it helpful anyway to say a few words at least of what it's not. And in our take, it's not the same as transition, even though those concepts, transformation, transition, are often used synonymously, both in academia and in many policy texts. But we can see an increasing emphasis on distinguishing between them, going back to the roots of the concept, which where transition is from one state to another. So you can transition the energy system from a fossil fuel-based to a renewable-based energy system and don't change anything in society, the way we live, the way we consume and produce and so on, and still could call it, without blushing, a transition, but it wouldn't be a transformation, because transformation is so much more a change of form of how we live our lives and how we organize society. Won't go more into the definitions here because that's part of what we will discuss during the day, but just to set the scene from our take. Then, of course, it is also important to distinguish the deliberate transformations where we actively try to steer society towards transformation with those that are ongoing and where we have the transformation brought on by changing geopolitics, changing globalization of the global economy, digitalization, or pandemics, and so on. When we wrote a book together on this topic, and then in that book, we made a lot of focus groups around the world, 20, I think. So that's quite. And it was quite clear that in countries like Fiji and in Cabo Verde, it was the emergent transformation that they saw as the primary drivers of transformation. They saw was sort of education, because they had to respond to these emergent transformations, whereas in other parts of the world that was not in the forefront. So depending on what type of transformations we are talking about, perhaps we look at different drivers and different theories of change that we need to bear in mind in our discussions.
Mm-hmm. And of course there will never be a consensus on these terms, since they have all these different connotations that Björn-Ola mentioned. But we wanted to contribute to some more maybe conceptual clarity, and we hope that this day today could also help us out a bit along that path. And one of the attempts of trying to get some more clarity in what different meanings transformations could take was to make this typology where you distinguish between the tempo of the change. So is the changes we're discussing, are they very rapid in their tempo, or are they protracted, more gradual changes that we're talking about, extending over longer time periods? And also the system boundaries are important here. So are we talking about whole societies, society-wide, maybe entire civilizations that are transforming? Or are we talking about particular segments or niches or branches or sectors of a society where we can see change happening? And this kind of matters for how we think about what transformations could be. And we just wanted to show this as also maybe a starting point for the discussions this afternoon, because we might need maybe different theories of change for discussing these different types of transformations. And we can also think about examples of transformative change that could maybe fit into different quadrants, depending on a bit how we think about them. And that's kind of part of the transformative process, I think, to start discussing these terms and the temporal aspects and the system aspects of change. So we're just sending this into the discussions for later.
Yes, and speaking then of the theory of change, nice segue, thank you, Victoria. So we will hear Karen talk about the work of the IPA's Transformative Change Assessment. So I really look forward to that. I had the privilege of being one of the lead authors in one of these chapters on how transformative change occurs, where we sort of assess the theories that were out there on transformation. So we sort of summarized that in 62 theories and frameworks, and then try to group them into typical approaches, systems, here we have them: structural systems, science and technology, knowledge co-creation, inner transformation, and empowerment approaches. We'll talk more about them later. But the point that I want to make here is that one of the conclusions from that work, though, is that although these are in themselves important theories of change that might sometimes collide, if we bring them together, we call it the weave, long before Trump used that word. We call them weaving them together, because they in combination that helps us to understand better and give better guidance to policymakers what is required for transformative change. So hopefully that is a perspective that we would like then hopefully to see if that can come out of this day as well, seeing how different theoretical perspectives of understanding transformation and change can fertilize each other, and where we have sort of more conflicting views.
Thanks. I think our time
is
up.
Okay. Then I will continue with, because it's my pleasure to... This is for you, Victoria.